Hi, my name is Brittany Lynch, and I'm checking Suki Hoffman off on her skills.
Okay, so my name is Suki Hoffman. I'm a Liberty University nursing student, and we're going to be doing your bed bath today. We're also going to be emptying out your ostomy bag, and before we start, would you like to use the restroom? Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll you over onto your side, and my friend is going to hold you. So ready? And now we're going to back up here. If the patient was able to help, we would be sitting her up in the bed. We could also leave toilet paper, and we would cover up and leave her to have some privacy by putting the bed down in the lowest position. Then when we came back, we would take this down, and then if she needed help cleaning herself, we could at this point do that. Okay? So either be, if it needed to be measured, we could measure it at this point into a container and then dump it into the commode or rinse it at that point. Okay, to empty the ostomy bag, we would come over and expose it. And I would be wanting to wear gloves because in case you came in contact with the fluid. Stuck in my leg, that's never good. If I needed to provide care for the stoma, I would remove the entire bag from the top, like that, and then I would use a wet washcloth. You don't want to use soap, but you're just going to clean around the area with just water, and then use a dry towel to pat dry. And then we would replace it back. But since we're just going to empty it today, your arm, and like I said, I'd be wearing gloves. Unclip it, and you don't want to throw away the clip because they're a hot commodity apparently. You would empty the contents into the measuring container, and then you could set it aside, and then when you put it back together, you would want to make sure that the seam was on the outside to avoid being abrasive to the patient. And then again, if you needed to measure, you could record the amount, and then you would empty it into the commode and rinse it out. Okay, so now we're going to be doing a bed bath, and we're going to start. Again, if the patient was able to help more, we'd be putting them in different positions in the bed, but since this patient appears to be relatively unconscious, we're not going to ask her to do too much. So we would start by putting a bed bath sheet on the patient. So that they can stay warm while they're getting their bath. And we would use, ideally not bar soap because you don't want to spread soap around or bacteria around different areas of the body, but you would use like a warm water. You can test it as long as it's not contaminated on your own skin. And yeah, like a liquid soap. And then your washcloth over. So we want to pull down the other sheet. My shoes are so squeaky. So, let's start with the seam on the side that's not going to touch your patient. And you would start by doing the eyes from the inside to the outside, and then using a different area, the inside to the outside, and rinse it. And then using like deliberate slow strokes to clean. would want to move to the arms. My washcloth is struggling today. And you would go. I'm going to pretend that it's going to stay because it's not going to stay, but I don't want to waste time. If it was wet, it would stay a little better. So using like deliberate strokes in one direction. And then this way. Then you would do the hands, and you want to make sure you get in between each of the fingers as well. And then I would repeat this again on the other side. And you want to go under the arm as well. Okay. And then so once I did both of the arms, I would want to get a new washcloth. And then make sure that the temperature of the water is still comfortable for the patient. If they were awake, you could ask them. If not, you could use your gloved hand to test the temperature of the water. And I want to do chest, the neck, and then the chest. Again, this is a very frustrating towel. Using downward strokes. And then if it was a female, which it says you would lift under the breast and clean there as well. Then you would move on to the abdomen, trying not to expose more than you would need to. I would probably want to bring a second blanket. If you go down, downward strokes again. And then again with the legs, you want to go ankle to shin, or ankle to knee, and then rinse again, and then up here. And then I probably should have taken your socks off first. And to keep the bed dry, I should have done this for the arms as well, but to keep the bed dry and the patient more comfortable, during the limbs, I should have had a towel underneath while I was cleaning them. And then after I did the shin and the thigh, I would move on to the foot, taking care to wash in between the toes. And at this point, since it's a diabetic patient especially, I could be assessing the skin integrity and making sure there was no breakdown or like injuries to the toes that she might not have noticed. And I would do that again to both sides. Towel. And then after doing the leg, I would change to a new washcloth again. And then I could change the whole water too before I did the back. So in order to do the back, I would need someone to come help me turn the patient. It's very difficult with draw sheets. So I would start at the top of the back. In downward strokes again, rinsing it, and then I would move on to the lower back and the bottom regions. So I'd move in downward strokes again, and then when I got to like the individual cheeks, I would be wearing gloves, like I said earlier, and I would want to make sure to clean both sides on the inside, and then right down the middle as well, and cleaning around the anus as well too. After that point, I would want to change the water before performing perineal care. Thank you. And still trying to cover up the patient to keep them comfortable and warm and feeling like they're being modest. So definitely before perineal care, I would want to change the water and make sure the temperature was comfortable and to use a new washcloth as well. So I did that. Okay, I'm starting. And the whole time, even if the patient was unconscious, you would want to be talking to them because you never know if they can hear, and it just makes everybody more comfortable. So from perineal care, you would again have your hand in the same position, and you would want to use your non-dominant hand to spread the labia, and you'd clean on the outside using a different part, the other side, and then down the middle. And if it was more contaminated, we could, like visibly dirty, we could rinse it and then pat dry again. But you want to make sure that the area is not broken down, there's no maceration, and that the area is dry, because it can be really prone to infection. And you also always want to make sure to go front to back or down to like top to bottom, because you want to prevent any fecal matter from getting into a very sensitive area. My hair's coming down, which is lovely. Okay, and then I would also offer to perform like hair washing if she would like. It's not necessary, but if the patient would like to, we can. And we would use a shampoo cap to wash the hair, and then wash it with a basin. And then the last thing I would do is perform oral care. Since this patient has dentures, I would help her remove the dentures with obviously different gloved hands than the ones I just performed perineal care with. Remove her dentures, and then come over and put them in this cup. And then I could fill the cup with water, and using, again, my hands are still gloved, but I would want to brush the teeth just as though I was brushing actual teeth. And then flip it over and clean both sides, because you don't want any bacteria trapped in. And then I would rinse them, and then bring it over and assist the patient with putting her dentures back in. It's really important to do that because it helps them like feel more confident. Obviously they're wearing them for a reason. If they don't have them in, then they're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable potentially. And I think that's it.
Stop it.
I don't know.